Joining us now is Mr. Robert Ferrante. Mr. Ferrante, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
So let's start with your background in real estate. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, well, I started real estate after graduating from Western State University College of Law. At that time, I started acquiring a series of apartment buildings concurrent with a real estate sales operation that I had. At the time, we had about 22 offices throughout the San Fernando Valley, and we launched that into condominium conversions throughout Southern California, beginning with the Inland Empire and then making our way through San Diego over to the Valley. Over the years, I took that experience and moved it into office buildings, shopping centers, shopping malls, and various other types of real estate development, predominantly in the United States, mostly in Southern California.
Now, I also read that you founded the first single stockholder bank in the U.S. Can you elaborate on that a little for us?
Yes, I I started a savings and loan back in the early 80s, and I was the sole stockholder of that bank. That bank grew from its initial capitalization to a $150 million bank. That bank was expanding rapidly back in the mid-80s, as other banks were, and we moved into Florida and New York through acquisitions of other institutions.
And what happened with the bank?
In 1986, the Federal Home Loan Bank Board took over that bank. They made allegations against myself and other directors of inappropriate activities. That, along with every other bank in the savings and loan business during that time, roughly 200 of them, were all taken over, they were all closed, and we were all litigated by the federal government. The difference between me and the rest of them is I stood up to the trial, and we settled that case. I actually won that event, and it led to other activities. They came in and charged me with the criminal charges thereafter, and that was back in the early 90s. I went to trial on that. They actually dismissed most of the charges the day of trial. The last two that were left, we went without jury, and I was acquitted on all fronts. From that day forward, we settled all differences with the government, and it worked out pretty good. They ended up with the bank, which was then gone and liquidated, and I ended up with roughly $200 million worth of real estate, which they gave back to me. Later, 10 years later, what I forgot to do is I forgot to settle with the Internal Revenue Service, which was part and parcel of that 1991 matter. So I eventually had to settle with them, and we worked out an agreement that worked for both of us. Wasn't the best, wasn't what I was looking for, but we made it go away.
And what are you doing now?
Well, right now, Rob, I'm working with the PDC Capital Group and helping advise and structure their real estate expansion program. We've launched into what we think is a very exciting business, senior living. And in senior living, we've become one of the largest in the country at this point. We have over 20 projects under development in California, Arizona, Nevada, South Carolina, Florida, and we're working on the other states as we speak. We put a pretty good team together. The timing was great. There hasn't been any new development here in the United States since 2008. Financing went away, developers went away, but the demand for senior housing kept growing. At the rate of 10,000 a day, people are becoming 65 or older. That need has not been met. PDC Capital Group has put together a program to help fill that need and provide an upper scale, better, higher quality, last home for the elderly to enjoy themselves and enjoy their sunset years.
Well, Mr. Ferrante, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rob. It's nice to be here. I'm available to answer any questions you might have, and hopefully you'll gain something from this experience.